NFTs.
Yeah, let's go.
Before I start, let me explain that I had to get a lot of understanding of this through my brother, who normally have paid to give us this information. But as I explained, make una just pity me. It's not everything I know, but to the best of my knowledge.
No, that's even Imola seems to know something about it, and I've kind of heard a little bit about it as well. Then we can all just kind of add our knowledge and just kind of explain it for people to kind of understand.
Perfect. Okay, that works. So NFTs are called non-fungible tokens, basically. Now, in my layman's understanding, which is going to be the easiest way for us to understand, and I don't need to use big grammar, is supposed to be, for example, like an authentication. How do I call it? Like an authentication certificate, quote unquote. I'm going to be using words that may not relate, for an item or a project. Projects can vary from actual items like art pieces, or because most of the people that use them now are artists most of the time. So like if you have, like, let's say Da Vinci now, if NFTs were existing when Da Vinci was alive, let's say those is Mona Lisa, for example, if he had done a blockchain kind of like code, so it's basically like a code or something like this on a blockchain. If he had done it for his Mona, you know that nowadays you have a lot of fake Da Vinci pieces flying around the world, you know, and people can dupe you and tell you a fake, and you won't really know which one is the fake because they might be just you get what I mean. So if let's say Da Vinci was alive, then he would have done, for example, his Mona Lisa, one copy. He would have done the blockchain code for that Mona Lisa. Then you know that yes, that's when you are buying it because that's a unique certificate for that particular artwork. So you now know that you're buying the original thing, for example. Or let me put it in modern terms. Like, let's say Nike now decides to release a collection, maybe like, let's say a collection, and make it like a limited edition pair of sneakers, for example. So they can say, okay, they want to just do 10 pairs, and those 10 pairs are going to be the limited edition 10 pairs. And if they are able to translate or to imbibe it into an NFT or into the blockchain, you now have the unique originality or authentication codes for those particular 10 pairs. So when you're buying it, you know that yes, now you get the certificate, now you get the original, every other one. So basically it works well now for art pieces, and some musicians have started putting their music on NFT, like their albums on the whole NFT whatever. So now the discussion for me when I said to bring this up was, okay, how do we see, like the way cryptocurrency came? A lot of people missed it when it was very cheap, when Bitcoin was very cheap, and we all had our doubts and our skepticism, and then now people are like, oh, I wish I got it then when it was very cheap, that kind of thing. So how do we make sure we don't miss this kind of opportunity in our NFT? I felt like this was going to be a huge opportunity for us to take advantage of, because now we know that the whole world is going digital, right?
Yeah.
And there must be a way we can be able to incorporate these things into our everyday life. I don't know if any of you have heard about the metaverse.
Yeah, from Facebook.
Metaverse, have you heard? Okay, fine. So basically the metaverse is like, I call it, I'm going to use layman's terms now. It's like a world outside, how do I call it? Like a world outside the world. Like, I don't know how to explain. You know how children have this kind of game.
If you think of the translation, universe, metaverse. So metaphysics is beyond. So beyond, so metaphysics is beyond physical, right? So the universe, so metaverse beyond. So if you think about it, it's like beyond the universe, like that we as we know it, beyond
exactly beyond the universe. So it's like basically how you have, let's say, your WhatsApp or you have your Facebook. Which one of these apps use avatars? And then you have your profile picture, your avatar. I think Yahoo that time used to have avatars for when you open a Yahoo account. Then you can be able to now design your avatar with your face and your what, and that becomes like your image and the thing. So I felt like it's going to be useful because the world is switching to that point where, see, let's face it, internet can be anything you want to call it, but it has its bad sides and it has its good sides. The fact of the matter is there'll be a time when a lot of people will just sit down in their house and be doing every single thing, you know, on the internet or however the case may be. Not need to stand up from their house.
I think we're almost there, Chidaba.
Exactly. Exactly. So we are almost there. Like my daughter has this game she plays on her phone. She calls it the Tokaboka or whatever she calls it. So it's basically the same thing. It's like a world outside. It's like an outer world on its own. Yeah. So she has her own avatar. She shop for clothes, shop for food, go and design her house, those kind of things. But thank God I told her not even try it. Because if she tries it and remove money from her account, now me and I go get problem. but you know, those kind of, so this generation of kids are going towards that. They're already going towards that kind of life. Some people are not. I even heard that Rihanna even did a concert or is planning to do a concert on the metaverse. So she doesn't need to get out of her house. All she needs to do is to sit down. She has the avatar. Every other person that has their avatar will just, you know, come in. You know, there's a club that they now belong to. That's an NFT club that somebody organized where you buy the membership. I think they say they're buying it for, was it $1 million? Cool. Mostly the celebs that are inside it. $1 million, and then you get some kind of ticket to some kind of exclusive shows or events or that kind of thing. And you just have like, it's like an exclusive club. So you buy it. And let's be frank, a lot of people that have money that they don't know what to use their money to do, these kind of things that they end up going into. So these are the opportunities that I'm wanting everyone to see in these kind of things. Now, so if Rihanna has her concert in the metaverse, all she has to do is sit there in her house, you know, people will buy their ticket, how they'll buy it, they'll have their own avatars. So they'll basically, whoever will design it, to design like a stage for her, all that kind of, so her avatar is the one singing. She might be singing to it. I don't know how they're going to do it in the blockchain. And then the other people that will come for the concert to be in their house too and be in a concert. You get what I mean? Yeah. So we are getting to that point. Now, how does this apply to our daily or businesses or proposed businesses or what we are thinking to do? Basically, this is what I'm seeing. Like, okay, since the metaverse, we know that very soon a lot of people will start going into the metaverse. And right now, with all the NFTs, the avatars, the people the projects that are ongoing are people selling avatars all over the place. Avatars with a crocodile head, with his own glasses, with his own t-shirt. So people are now buying into these things because we all know that we are all going to the metaverse anyhow. Big corporations are investing into this, are going into, like you said, Facebook and the rest. And very soon, everybody is going to be on the metaverse. The fact of the matter is that. So what can we do as people? What opportunities can we tap into in the metaverse? I can decide, okay, I don't know how the blockchain works. Maybe somebody will explain that to me, but I can decide to create an avatar on the blockchain and sell it out to people. Or I can decide, okay, maybe I'm producing a product, maybe a handbag or whatever it is. I can decide to make an NFT, a token for that handbag. And when you're in the metaverse, instead of you to buy the physical thing, you can just pay for it. You get the unique code, that's your own. If you now decide, oh, you've paid for it, yes, and you want to have the physical, then they also give you the physical. So it's just like a funky club, for lack of a better word. And I feel like there's a lot of opportunities people can tap into, you know, for, you know, in the metaverse. So that was why I said, okay, let us discuss this. And this is just me summarizing what my brother taught me. If anybody don't understand, I beg, ask me question, no matter answer.
No, but I think in addition to Chidaba, I think it's a good explanation. And I think also the NFTs basically they digitally represent assets. So it's basically a digital representation of a live asset. It could be art, it could even be real estate.
Exactly.
So instead of you actually physically going to see the house or the land or the artwork, for example, there is authentication that it is original, it is yours. So when you pay for it, you own it. So it's basically owning, I think it's owning real life things digitally, if that makes any sense. So it's like buying a land, but with digital CFO, if that makes any sense. Do you understand? So CFO is certificate of occupancy, right? So it's like having a land or landed property both digitally. So, but the thing as well as you can't actually exchange it. It only depends. It's only the value is what the seller is willing to sell. That's so it's entirely up to you what you with NFTs, I think. But as per whether or not it's going to be the future, there's no question about that. I think it is. The future is becoming digital anyway, and I think in a lot of countries in the world, the paper money is going. Paper money is going. Everything is digital now, and so we'll get to a point where you would have to pay for things, with digital currency of some sort. All right. Imole, I think you also seem to know a lot about this NFT. So do you want to tell us what you know? You're muted. Unmute yourself.
Okay, as she has said, NFT is non-fungible tokens, and it's like a digital asset. Okay, for what I know is like NFT basically art. Is basically art. NFTs. For example, I can decide to draw something. For example, let me just make an illustration here. For example, I can decide to just draw something like this, like a flame, a candle, and a flame,
right?
And put it out there. For NFT is just about creating a unique, what's it called? A unique art. For example, I can create about maybe 1,000 copies of a candle with a flame uniquely.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what NFT is all about. The Bored Ape what's it called art was they produced their first 10,000 unique Bored Ape app what's it called art, and they sold out everything. So the next time they were going to what's it called do such thing, they produce another 20,000. So NFT is just like putting out your art out there and doing it in different ways in a unique way. So, for example, Eminent bought a budget app worth about 200 plus Ethereum. That's about millions of dollars. So it's not about just creating an art. It's about a unique art, and it must have a meaning attached to it. So for now, that's what I can say for now.
But it's so essentially, it's open to anybody. You can create an NFT.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For example, yes, sir. For example, as I'm an artist like this. I'm an artist. Okay. So you can decide to bring people together, creatives. You can decide to bring a blockchain developer, artist, to create art that will solve real life problem. Let me, for example, if you are going to go for an art exhibition where art has been exhibited and they buy art and stuff like that. So it's just like bringing such stuff into the digital world.
Yeah.
So it's not only about art, it's about what's this with coding too, blockchain developers.
Yeah, that's important. I'm looking at it, just saying how to make an NFT. First of all, you pick your item, then you also have to choose your blockchain. That seems to be one of the first things you have to do.
Exactly.
Then also, but this is where I say is the future, because you then have to set up a digital wallet.
Mm-hmm.
So that, which means that NFTs are not something that you can pay with cash, for example.
No.
So do you see? But this is why crypto and all them Bitcoins and Ethereums get tied into it.
Exactly.
So they're all connected.
Yeah. So if I may add, so basically, like you just said, at the end of the day, when you said initially that everything is going digital, so the world is going digital, you won't even be having so many physical assets any longer, except you really want it. So if it's going to be tied towards cryptocurrency, then you now know that physical money is going to be extinct very soon, and you have to use cryptocurrency to buy your asset digitally. So like when I made the example of Nike and the pair of sneakers, like Nike can decide to design. It might not be only art, but most of the time, currently people that are using it are mostly artists, and when I even heard like Snoop Dogg and who is putting they're converting their own albums. You know, like you know how musicians like Jay-Z and co have those kind of albums that are like limited edition albums, those special albums that they have, and then the people buy it and it's sold out, and people are, you know, they can resell the original copies for much more. Even comics, even comic books. You know how comic con is. You know how people, you know how people are crazy about comics. You know, those kind of things. If you now digitalize it and put it, make an NFT, you know, put it in the blockchain and it becomes people will now be buying those things. So these are the ideas where we can see, okay, how do I come in? Even as much as you can design, like Imole was saying, design a candle flame. I can design a t-shirt, right? A t-shirt that I know that some people in the metaverse might see and it'll be nice and they want to buy it for their avatar in the metaverse. Do you get what I mean? So
yeah, go on. Choose about for some reason you're fading away. Right. Chidaba, you're muted. Right. But I think my only worry here is maybe I'm old school, but it's sustainability. How now? Because in as much as everything is digital and we will be having things in avatar and all this, we still live in the real world.
Sorry, I lost you guys there. What did you say?
No, I said I'm just looking at sustainability of these things. In as much as people, there's this digital world is going, you know, it's just is the next thing or the next big thing. And people are creating these avatars and having this other life from real life. We still live in the real world.
Yes.
So the question is, how do this thing? Because look, you can buy assets of this art digitally, but do they translate to real life? And that's what I have to think. That's what I'm thinking of sustainability in the sense that, okay, in the long run, how useful or profitable are these things? Apart if you have a group of geeks or people who would like to be in a different world than the real world, but the fact is we live in the real world.
Okay.
So do you understand what I mean?
I understand. So can I answer?
I'm a bit old school. I think of investing in something more, obviously that's part of the future, but something more concrete. That's more concrete.
Okay, let me answer that. Like my brother said, that it's even too early right now to start investing, because he said it's still very early and that there'll be a lot of projects. And what he means by project is there'll be a lot of things to do with NFTs. And everybody's converting every single thing digitally. So there's going to be a lot of projects that are going to come up. That's what he said. So even if you want to invest, he advised to wait a little while, because you know, like how the internet came into existence.
Yeah.
All those companies that that I would like to say all those companies that started the internet meaning that they started in the beginning, like how Nokia was the leading phone, was the leading phone, mobile phone then, and then now it's Samsung and iPhone that is reigning. So Nokia is dead. So basically, during the internet revolution, it started with a lot of companies that we don't even know about. They came in early and they went out quicker than anything because they invested too early. Then you have people like Facebook and Instagram that came in which year they are now the ones reigning. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. So he said to give it a little bit of time. But to answer your question about how it translates to the real world, that's why I still use that Nike. For example, like if I'm a fashion designer and I decide to create, or let me use Hermes bags. You know, Hermes bags have a lot of fakes.
Fakes, yeah. That's different. This is simple. That's pretty straightforward. But I'm looking at things like this digital flame or art, like one I was talking about. But I do you understand?
Sorry, let me just finish this one. Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt you. So, looking at the art now, the fact of the matter is, even if you have created it and put it in a blockchain, there is also the possibility of creating the real thing, because I'm not going to pay money for just a digital certification.
Yeah, exactly.
Something. I would expect also that as part of the whole package, you send me the real thing. But at least the digital certification shows that I have the original. So tomorrow, if the price goes up, I'm the one with the original and I can sell it and I make the money, like how art usually goes up, you know?
Yeah.
So I have the original. So anybody that from me will have to come and buy from me with my code because it is the original, no fakes anyway. You understand? So anybody that is making a fake, like that club I was telling you that a lot of the those
celebrities,
joining, and they said if they invite you because you have the access to some kind of exclusive shows, even if I go to the show, even if I don't have the NFT and I say, okay, I want to screenshot the picture of the kind, let's say card, for example, or picture of the tickets that admits them into the show, and take my phone there and show them that, oh, this is my own ticket. They say it doesn't work that way. It has to be scanned to show that unique code, that blockchain code is the original thing. So if you don't have it, you don't have it.
You know what? Talking of these things, actually, at least in Sweden here, there are places you go and things you buy with just a scanner. So that, you know, that scan, there's like those scan things. I don't know how to explain it. So they have like scanners, they just scan it. So that lets you in. So here, let's say I have a delivery, for example, right? And I have the app. There's an app, and then all I have to do is they send me that digital scan thing,
barcode,
right?
Like a barcode scan.
Yeah. And I just take it, they just can they know it's me. They know, they know it's my delivery, they just go straight and get it for me. So all these things are actually closer to us than we realize, really.
Exactly.
But the thing is, for us, especially those here, okay, what do we do with this information? How is it useful to us? So I think, go on.
Okay, now I think the use for, like I still said, it's too early, but it would be a good idea to know these things and not be behind. Now, if you own a business, or if you're thinking of what can I do as a business, what can I do as something, a lot of people are looking for, even if those that have money are looking for what to do, use their money and do. Those that don't have money are looking for ideas or have ideas and they're looking for who to sponsor. So this can also be for someone who pick an interest in something like this, can also be an idea for a business, something that you can use. It's knowing fully well that this is going to be the future. You can already start now and start planning in your head, okay, what do I think I'm going to be? Like if somebody create, like there's this girl that's on Instagram that does handbags, very nice handbags made out of wool. And when you see it doesn't look like your normal cheap looking. This she hand knit this thing, and it's so nice, so much so that she got recognition from let's say outside Nigeria. She now sells something that she was selling 5-10K then. Now she sells it about 50-60K. So these are unique pieces. For someone like her, if she now has this kind of information, all she has to do is to just say, okay, you know what, I'm going to design like a limited edition of my bags and put that in the blockchain somehow. You understand? And then when people are buying, they're buying it because they're buying unique pieces. If tomorrow the worth of the bag increases and I have the unique, I bought one and I have the unique code, and tomorrow the price, let's say, jumps to like 2 million, like how Hermes is now. Do you understand? I can sell mine out. I can sell mine. It is now an asset for me to sell, quote unquote. Or like you said, piece of land or car or house. But in the physical, I'll make sure that you also make sure that you have the physical thing, because if you are giving the person the NFC code as a certificate of authentication, you should also be able to send, if the person wants, the physical thing. Like when I say, I'm still going back to the Nike shoes. Now, a lot of people buy shoes not because they actually want to wear them, but because they want to show that they can afford them. So people have a wardrobe full of like 1 million shoes. You're not wearing everything. How many years, decades will it take you to wear 1 million shoes, even if you wear one each day or two pairs a day? But some people just own shoes because they want to own them. I like it. I have the money. I buy it.
I think it's like this thing. It's like Jordans, for example.
Yes, it's like Jordans. God bless
trainers. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's like this. Yeah.
So now, if Nike Jordans, if Jordans, if they decide to make like a limited pair of Jordans, for example, and I have the money, I can buy it, and I buy the NFT, the code to show that I have the correct. I might decide not to clog my wardrobe with a lot of shoes. I have the code, is original. So if tomorrow I say, okay, maybe I have this thing, I want to even wear itself, I can say Nike to give me a physical copy of the shoe, and they send it to me. That's a business idea. Do you understand? That's a business idea. I want to wear it now. Or while you are buying it, they can package it. And if you still want the physical, if you don't want it, you can decide not to crowd your wardrobe and just know that yes, you have the authentic copy or piece of the shoe. Do you get what I mean? So it can work in different. What I've been trying to see is how it will work for people who are in like the food industry, because it it's confusing unless maybe in the future somebody can come up with an idea. But for other industries like physical goods and other things like that, I see the possibilities of it
with the food, it's more about creating. If you like you have your own business now, choose about right. So you create that blockchain and the digital wallet for yours, right? And so your foods, for example, you start to right. It's almost like it would almost be like online
voucher or something,
right? So you create it, and people can then buy and resell. So someone can. So basically, someone can buy from you. You have the copy. They can choose, like you said, whether or not you send the food to them or not, right? And then they can choose to have it with you and resell it when they, with you, from you. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And make a profit from it. And then with that profit, you can also make a commission because you've kind of kept it for them, if that makes sense. You've been the storage.
Exactly.
And also, like for you as well, that has that's for food and the digital thing. Creating a digital marketplace for it would be good because that means that you're no longer limited to a location.
Exactly.
Does that make sense? And so you can, your food becomes more accessible to what you call it,
all around the world, and you can decide
all over the world, right? And then you then start to, again, it's like online, it's like shopping online without a website, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, or maybe just creating a voucher, like a digital voucher that says, okay, you can always order it anytime you bought it. So anytime you want anything from it, you can always say, okay, I now want this, I want that. I have
and then you can take that. You can, so it's very possible. But I think that the way forward, like your brother said, NFTs maybe it's a wise thing too. Because I've been looking into them, like I personally won't invest in anything I don't know about. If I don't know anything about it, if I'm not sure, I'm not going into it, right? If I don't know how it works, I won't really. That's why with even crypto, all these things, I've been very, very, very careful. Now we think from what I see with these NFTs, it's more preparing for the future for when it starts. So from now, you start thinking of ideas. And in the later, while you're thinking of ideas, you start thinking of, okay, how do I create a digital wallet? How do I create a digital wallet first? You could have that one, have the digital wallet on the side to keep that. And then I'm thinking of, okay, what do I want to create? What do I have that I want to, or what would I want to invest in? So that's two things. So what do I want to create? Like, Imala says, okay, I want to create art. Okay, somehow you already know your blockchain already, right? You already know your blockchain. So, which means that, okay, I'm going to look for that blockchain programmer or whatever.
Developer.
Yeah, right. So, but before then, you'd have created a digital wallet. So once that guy is ready, you have your items, you put it on that blockchain with the digital wallet, how to make money off it. Then on the other side, for those who would like to invest, that's you being as a creative, for example, right? Someone who's creating things, right? So someone who just wants to invest, that's okay. What you look at it and say, okay, what's going to be the next big thing, right? So what's the next thing? Like, it could be like that's your daughter's game. My daughter has a similar game as well, where she said they have this game where you can go to work, you come back, you like it's
dinner,
it's very funny.
Life outside,
it's like a real life. You're working, you're earning, you're spending your money. So for something like that, you don't have to create, okay, within this kind of avatar world, if you like, is there a chance that this could be the next thing? Then you could think, okay, maybe I want to invest in something like this because it could be the future of dating. People start to look, do you understand? Because people are very conscious of how they look. And so when they go dating, they don't want the real, they want an avatar that kind of represents them, but that's not them at the same time. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes, it could be that. It could also even be like you can invest in, like, for example, in more or less art. If you decide, okay, you see that this thing has potential, and you can invest in it. And when it increases, you know that you have a stake in.
Yeah, but either way, whether you're coming in as a creator or as an investor, you have to have a digital wallet. So I think that should be the foundation. From here, it's about, okay, how do we then create a digital wallet? How much will it cost? How do we do that? I think that's the first step, and then.
Sorry, before I forget, because it just came to me. It can also be open for people who would want to learn how to be blockchain developer, for example. You can decide to say, okay, you know what, this is going to be the future. Let me also go and learn how to become a blockchain developer, so that by the time that thing happens, I know that yes, I have a steady, work that is, anything.
Yeah, it's those things but again, it's about trying to connect it, because like I said before, in as much as people talk about the metaverse and this separate life, we still live in the real world. So as a creator, you have to think of, what can I create that connects to the real world, right? So in more like creating that art, for example, that drawing, you also be sure to create like the physical, just the actual, because people might want to actually have that art hanging on their wall in the living room. So I have to think of creating, as an investor as well, you have to think, okay, how does this, because for me, basic things that are needed, and you never lose money on this real estate, because people always need houses or roof over their heads, right? Yes, people always need food. These are needs. People need clothes on their backs. It doesn't have to be designers. But those things, sometimes those markets are maybe overflowed. But property, when it comes to real estate, but then you also have to look at also the little luxuries of this. You have to start small, like this little art, start to sell and resell, and so I think the first thing is for us to think of how to start off with digital wallets in preparation, just waiting. But no, I would never advise anyone to rush.
Yeah. No, it says it's too early. You can't rush it now.
Yeah,
even in the real estate you're talking about, I think for me, in my head, I might be wrong. It can solve things like, when people have different, you want to buy land and you have different people telling you, I have the CFO, I have the CFO.
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm saying to you. You don't know who is the real person you're buying from. So with something like that, if it's in the blockchain, you know that, okay, whoever it is that has the unique code is the person you're buying from. So you don't have to fight with anybody, and
that's
that you that person.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said about having real estate, but a digital CFO.
Exactly.
Something like that, and I think it's the future, but I don't think that rushing into it now is a wise thing. I think that if you first of all look for how to create that digital wallet, and then we'll start the transaction from there. That's my only little contribution. But of course, it's open. Any other contributions, any suggestions.
Yeah.
But I think it's good to start. Like, a lot of these conversations are not for us to get solutions here and there, start to make money straight away. No, sometimes with things like this, it's a long game. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's a long game. If you rush in, you're going to rush out. So things that you have to start looking at what's really real. And also, another thing I always think of for investment is if you invest, you have to think of whatever you invest in, it has to be of service to others. If you invest in something that is servicing a need, you can't go wrong. So whether it's food, roof over your heads, clothes on your back, is as long as it's meeting a need, it doesn't, it doesn't, you can't go wrong.
Yes, sir.
So, but like I say, it's it's entirely it's up to us what we want to do. But I think creating a sort of think of, we have to have a starting point. Okay.
Yeah.
Does anyone have anything else to say?
Yeah, if people have their own fears or concerns or questions, this would be the time to just.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Any fears, any concerns, any worries, then you could ask. Any issues? No. But we can ask on the comment section on the chat. You could just ask the question there. If you don't want to talk, you could always leave comments. Okay. But I think it's been good actually. And I think this NFTs and talking about preparing ourselves for the future is sensible.
And